Show me again the power of the darkness, and I will let nothing stand in our way. Show me, and I will finish what you started.
We would be honored if you would join us.
At the end of The Return of the Jedi, we see Vader's death after having returned to the light as Anakin Skywalker. In a video I have covered about how he became a Force ghost, Obi-Wan quickly transitioned him from death to the next realm. As we see Luke joining his friends in the celebration, Luke looks to the forest where he sees Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Anakin's Force ghosts smiling at him. So now that young Anakin's ghost is canon in the film's timeline, this leads us to The Force Awakens, where we see Kylo privately speaking to Vader's burnt mask, telling him to once again show him the power of the darkness, to finish what he started. It raises two questions. When has Vader ever visited Kylo from him asking to be shown again?
Show me again the power of the darkness.
And if he just means that figuratively, why hasn't Anakin's ghost advised Kylo that the dark side is not the Jedi way?
I shouldn't have done that. It's not the Jedi way.
In the early script of The Force Awakens, the concept artist Ian McKeag played around with the concept of what Anakin's Force ghost was meant to represent in The Force Awakens. However, it would be his dark side, since we know that Anakin and Darth Vader were indeed two different people, as I've covered many times in previous videos. Ian went to later say this about the photo. When you light a candle, you also cast a shadow. That inspired me to propose for the first time that Anakin's ghost could come back. If we see Anakin Skywalker, it's because he does flow back and forth between Darth Vader and Anakin. Let's see him as a character with a dark and light side. The reason Luke is this whole new entity is because he was the first to acknowledge his own dark side, that it was not separate from him. While the idea was obviously discarded, it's evident that it was brought to the table enough for concept art to be drawn. J.J. Abrams has also said that Kylo Ren idolizes Darth Vader, not Anakin Skywalker. He idolizes what Vader represents and what Vader was trying to do. The idea that Vader didn't succeed, if you look at it from Ren's point of view, he was seduced by the enemy, which was Luke, and failed because of that seduction. So, the idea is that Ren wants to complete the things that Vader started. I think that Anakin was trying to visit Kylo, and this was the constant pull he was periodically referring to in the film.
Forgive me. I feel it again. The pull to the light.
Leading him to speak to Vader's helmet in order to summon him back. It also makes sense that Anakin never visited Kylo because he knows he wouldn't have listened anyways. He'd see any visit from Anakin as ultimately coming from his own weakness, as that's what he saw Vader's redemption as in the first place. He would rebel even harder, seeing it as some sort of test to remain in the dark and ignore the pull to the light. There are rumors that Hayden Christensen returned to the Star Wars set to receive extensive training for Episode 8. However, further information is unclear at this point. This could be for a flashback or present-day scene of Anakin speaking to Luke and Kylo, or at least one of them. I think the idea of Anakin returning would grant for a very nice tie-in with the prequels, and provide for a larger story ahead. So I'd like to ask you, do you think Vader's ghost or Anakin's will be a thing in the upcoming Star Wars movies, or are the prequel trilogy completely dead and the characters with them? I wonder if they'll actually make a conflicted Anakin and Vader ghost. That might just make things over the top, but what do you think about Anakin returning? Write to me in the comments down below. Throw this video a like if it got you thinking, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's episode of Star Wars Theory. Until then,
May the Force be with you.
Now, fulfill your destiny.